Welcome to MWEB's Entrepreneur Zone. Today we're very excited to have Mzoli Ngcauwzele with us from Mzoli's. Welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit more about your story, an interesting one.
That's why I was saying to you, it's been a very long journey because you take one thing at a time, and then once you begin to realize that you have achieved step one, you get to step two, you get to step three. You know, as you hear me, I was saying that the whole plan was to integrate different communities in the Western Cape to get together, and we have done that. You know, very successful to unleash those racial tensions of yesterday through a piece of chop, through music, you know, and that's the whole thing.
Along the way, there must have been some challenges.
In anything that you do, you do come across those challenges, but you've got a plan in place. You have to stay focused and deal with those challenges as you go along.
Mzoli, for someone that hasn't visited your establishment, tell us what the experience will be for them.
When you leave your home, you know, that excitement is already there. One begins to crave for Mzoli's chop. We always make it a point to go to, when you get to Mzoli's, we make sure we satisfy you. You must come back again, you know. And what's more important there, and what people always crave for, it's our meat platter, which consists of a little of everything.
And it's something that, as you were mentioning, all South Africans enjoy.
Of course, all South Africans.
You spoke a lot about the background research that you did in building your brand. What do you put down to the success of being able to get your brand so well known?
You know, it starts with you as the person who drives it, you know, and the honesty for the people that you serve, and the quality of your product. That's the most important thing. You know, there are no shortcuts. It goes with honesty, good product that you give out to people. You know, it's what is more critical is first impression always lasts. If I come to you, you impress me, I have to come back. That's our winning. That's our winning strategy.
And how do you make sure that the people that work for you are of the same mind as you in terms of that quality running through everything?
When you prepare people, when you train your people, you know, you don't come and bake a half-baked potato. My guys are able to sweep the floors. My guys from the front door to the back door are able to do everything. Same as me. I sweep my own floors, you know. I'm not a guy who keeps on pointing, do that. I get out there and do it myself. People must learn from you as a leader, you know, and if you're not a proper leader, people ain't gonna learn from you. You know, that's why you bring your staff closer to your heart. You know, they must believe in you. You are the right person. You know, you are an example to them. You know, always, all the time, inspire them. You know, encourage them. That's the right word I must use. They must always feel when they come to work, because it's where they spend a lot of time. You know, when they come to work in the morning, they must be happy people saying, I'm coming home now. You know, as they're coming to work. People must not get worried when they go to work. They must feel happy.
And that development must be rewarding for you to see.
That's what is important. That's what I call is a proper empowerment. You know, things must go into one system. People must understand and go to what you want at the end of the day.
And I mean, it's grown into a massive establishment in terms of its brand now. What was it like on the first day when you began trading?
I want to call this thing, when you want to do something right, you must walk the street, begin to campaign as if I'm campaigning to be a president. That's exactly what we've done. Before we opened our doors at Mzoli's, we were street to street, giving people what is coming, showing them what's coming. Taste this, taste this, what do you think? You know, and it was not only on in Google, we were all over our communities, Greenpoint, you name it, Mowbray, wherever. The major market that we've captured, we were focused was universities, you know, and then corporate companies. You know, that was 6 months before we opened our doors. And when we opened our doors, everybody was saying, wow, this is good for Cape Town.
And I mean, it has, and it's certainly got a name for itself. What's your mix now in terms of your clientele? How much of it is tourist focused? How much of it is local?
The major focus, what we're more focused on, we're not really more focused on tourists. We're more focused on local communities, you know, through churches from everywhere in the Western Cape. We've won them, we've won their hearts, you know. They've been behind us. Tourists were just a plus for our operations.
Mzoli, you've now expanded out into other areas of interest. Tell us a bit about some of the other projects you're involved in.
We still got a long way to go because we haven't really reached our ceiling yet on the Mzoli's brand. We now came up to a point where we say, let's expand the brand. You know, give our young generation opportunity to own the Mzoli's brand, you know, and we're looking at a very bigger picture, not only in the Western Cape. We're going very aggressively everywhere in the country when there's a dire need for it. We've already identified a number of sites to come up with the Mzoli brand, the new look of us. Anyone lose its own taste of it, and then that's exactly where we're going.
So you're going to roll that out nationally?
Roll it up nationally.
And that is an exciting opportunity, but also presents a few challenges?
I wouldn't think it that way. You have to give people what they want. That's what is important, and stay focused. You know, my approach it works perfectly for me. I'm very much hands-on. Wherever I'll be building a new franchise store, I've got to get out there and make sure good things work the way I want things to work.
You speak about leadership, and you're clearly one of the leaders in the business community in Cape Town. What advice would you give to people that are starting small businesses?
For instance, lots of our guys, they haven't learned to start small. You know, that's where the discipline starts. You see Mzoli's today. We started Mzoli's with 2,000 rands, you know, and we've built that business where it is today. We started selling afal, you know, afal to dirty, you must dirty your hands, you know, to get where you want to be.
It's a fantastic story for people that are starting out small, and they're often saying, well, you know, they don't have access to finance, but your story really says that it's something else that you need.
That's how we started, 2 grand. And then we grew that 2 grand into something, what we call it today is Mzoli's.
And small business as a job creation mechanism, where do you see its role?
There is a future. It depends on who drives that. You know, when we drive, like for instance, when we put together a project, we looked at the bulk of the work. Where is the bulk of the work going to be going? The bulk of it is going to go out there to the black emerging small companies from a construction point of view. That's where they fit in. That's what we make sure that any project that we do, those small guys, they begin to benefit out of that. When the project is done, they're able to get out and go do their own thing somewhere else.
And that development of small businesses is fantastic for job creation and empowerment. Of
course, it is very important. For instance, one guy who owns a subcontractor is very grounded. Is able to rope in people who are out there on the ground, maybe about 100 to 200 people, to bring them on site to come and work with us.
Mzoli, you've also branched out into property development, specifically shopping malls. How did you see the market for that, and what inspired you there?
We needed to bring the imbalances of the past within those underdeveloped communities. That's where my focus was, to bring those imbalances of the past within those underdeveloped communities. And we have really made that difference to make sure that our communities gets up, you know, they benefit from that.
Mzoli, you've built a fantastic brand. It's you've certainly made a massive difference to the community in Cape Town. What's next for you?
What's next? I always look at situations where people cannot make ends meet. Now the focus is more into your small rural towns, which I'll begin to say your Millie Drift, your King Williamstown, all those areas, you know, that's where the focus is. And I'm mentioning Mzoli Drift. We just want a tender there. We want to begin to say, my people, you know, independence has come. We are a free country. Let's bring independence to you guys. You must also taste it, built by building a new shopping mall in that particular rural areas.
Thank you very much, Mzoli. That brings us to the rapid fire question.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the best advice you've ever received?
It's disciplines.
And your best moment as an entrepreneur?
It is as I speak to you now, right now, because I can see things are happening.
And what's been your biggest mistake?
I don't remember well what was my biggest mistake.
And what do you look for in people you work with?
It's honesty.
And what does an entrepreneur need to succeed?
It's got to be disciplined.
And what inspires you as a business owner?
It's to serve your communities.
What keeps you awake at night?
The wife. Yeah, my wife. And as well, of course, is to plan your following day.
And what gets you going in the morning?
You've got to be focused. That will keep you up for the rest of the day.
Mzoli, thank you very much.
Okay, pleasure.
And thank you. We look forward to the coming weeks. We will bring you further South African entrepreneurs. I'm Paul Obden. Thank you and goodbye.